What's up, friends? My name is Kevin Babb, musician extraordinaire, and today we are going to be demoing a Brooks Acoustic sleeper conversion of a Harmony. I believe it's an H162. This guitar is from the mid-60s, and yeah, it sat in a attic or garage, most likely for a handful of years and whatnot, until Robert Brooks of Brooks Acoustic in Hawk Point, Missouri got his hands on it. Basically what Robert did, he took the back off this guitar, starting with the seams, and he put a new bracing system on the inside. I know that there's new wood bracing in there for a certain style of guitar from the 30s. And I know that as far as getting the frequencies out of the top of the guitar, everything is very well balanced with this guitar. Robert and I put a, well, I say Robert and I, it was Robert. He put in an LR Baggs Anthem pickup in here for me. And this is one of my favorite pickups. It just, it gets everything that's natural about the body, and when you do percussive stuff, it always gets like the pop and niceness of the guitar. But so for this mic technique, I'm doing a mid-side thing. This large diaphragm microphone is basically set up to capture everything in a 360-degree radius. Actually, that's a lie. It's set up to capture the front and the back of the microphone. I have it turned sideways. And once we capture the audio, I'm going to duplicate the track and take it out of phase and hard pan left and right. It'll get like a nice big room sound. And then this guy is just going to be pointed right here at the 12th fret. So much like anything though, take it with a grain of salt. Music is entirely subjective, and so is recording music, so bear with me. These mics are basically, they can model after any of the high-end microphones, and we'll jump into that shortly. Right now, they are dialed in flat into my Universal Audio Apollo Twin, and I don't have any of the Unison preamps on, nothing like that. So what you're hearing off the mics right now is strictly the flat response right out of the box. So there's no plugins, there's nothing like that. Another reason why I dig the Harmony though, by the way, is it's nice and light. It feels like a toy. And my main gigging guitar is a Breedlove Focus D. And the guitar is heavy, it's stainless steel frets. I think whenever Robert redid this guitar, he used a hybrid for the frets, so they're not as hard on the fingers or anything. That was per request. You know, the other guitar has stainless steel frets, so my fingers get beat up from time to time when I play that. But yeah, everything about this guitar, I mean, this might as well be a Gibson or a Martin or something like that. Here we go, let's dive into it. I'm gonna play a song from Coheed and Cambria called Light in the Glass. It's a finger-picking style song. Then from there, we'll move on to some riffs and things like that to really develop the body of the guitar so you can hear that. So here we go. Now let's get those Unison preamps on. Actually, we're going to be doing the Unison preamps in post, so I guess technically they're not Unison from Universal Audio. We're just going to put a UA 610B preamp on both the microphones, so let's get that on there. Now let's add a little bit of reverb. For this, I like to do the Ocean Way Studios. Typically, I like to play around with the room. I'm not sure if we're using a Studio A or Studio B on the plugin, if you're familiar with it. But basically, it's just a room reverb on top of the reverb that we already have from the ambience of the room. Now what we're going to do, we're going to take the recorded track that we just did, and we're going to duplicate the large diaphragm slate track, and we're going to hard pan it left and right after we take it out of phase. Let's see how that sounds with no reverb, no plugins or anything. Going back to the microphones, like I said, music is very subjective. Recording is very subjective. The right guitar is very subjective. Although, as playing music in bars and hotels for 10 years, I know that my style and my taste it's a rabbit hole that never ends. So the further I go, though, I will say that I'm a big fan of low maintenance guitars. And one of the conversations that I had with Robert whenever purchasing this guitar was if this guitar, though it's from the 60s, I was curious if it was stronger than my Breedlove, which is, it's not a master class guitar by any means, but it's a step beneath it. So I think out of the box it was like $4,000. So a guitar like that, I'm just curious if this could stand up to gigging, 5-6 nights a week. And Robert said right off the bat that this guitar was stronger than that, because of the fact that it has sat in attics and garages, and and most likely it has sat in attics and garages, for years and years with the changes of the seasons and things like that, But because this may have been a Sears or a J.C. Penney guitar back in the 60s, things were just built a lot differently back then. And, this guitar was probably quality controlled, much like the Gibsons or Fenders of that day, Martins, anything like that. And everything that Robert has done to this guitar, the bracing system, the refretting, setting it up in a correct way and making sure the intonation is solid, and then putting a pickup in here to make it sound flawless without drilling any holes that, outside of the body that were needed. I think he did a phenomenal job, and I know that he also works on silver tones and Kalamazoos and tons of different great guitars, and I just think you should definitely get out there and play one of these for yourself. So check out Robert Brooks, check out Brooks Acoustic. He's on Twitter, he's on Instagram. Is he on Twitter? He might not be on Twitter. He's on Instagram and Facebook for sure.